Hey everybody, welcome back to Middle-Aged Divorced Dads. Once again, I am Scotty B, and yes, I am flying solo tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Buddy Big D is on a sabbatical. This week, I think he's visiting Southeast Asia. Well, he's still there, but I think he's moved to a different country. Hopefully eating healthy food and, focusing on what's important. We miss him though. Hopefully he gets back here soon. I thought I would just create something tonight just for the heck of it. Try this on my own. See how this goes. It's Friday evening, 7:24 p.m. And this is my life tonight. I wanted to write. Football season started, and I'm absolutely pumped. My dad came over on Sunday, opening day, and I talked to him today, and he mentioned he hasn't seen me that excited in many, many years, and it's all about the red zone, NFL Red Zone. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's a channel that I was kind of forced to buy because in order to get Warriors games, now I had to upgrade it or something. So that's now included, NFL Red Zone. I had it a couple years ago and didn't have it last year, and I think I suffered withdrawal, but it's back. And it's 8 hours of uninterrupted football, maybe 6 hours. No commercials, and it's magic, literally. And if you have fantasy, if you play fantasy football, it's like the best. Because obviously in fantasy, you got players from different teams. You're not just forced to watch the regional game that's in your area. And can't say enough about it. And it's quick. I mean, they move quickly to the live action. And what's good too is that in the afternoon games, there's usually not as many in the morning, so they'll actually show more of it. So if you got a good game on in the afternoon, like the Lions Packers or something that's not going to be televised locally because you've got the Raiders on or the 49ers on, but you know it's going to be a better game, you can actually see it, most of it, on Red Zone, at least all the exciting parts where I want to see my guys score touchdowns so I can win the Fantasy Football League. Shout out to the Fantasy Football League, Big Boy League. Gosh, we've been doing it for, I think, 15 years now. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So I'm happy about that. Super happy. I mean, Sunday was a great day. And my fantasy team won. And I'm pumped. I'm pumped for football. This weekend dating, a little bit on a lull. Last week I think I talked about I had some interest in someone, and I still do, but it's sort of fizzled out, I guess, a little bit, because I didn't really feel like the feelings were reciprocated, I guess, is probably the best way to put it. Even though we did have a talk and there was some reassurance there, but I think what I'm learning is that, it's all about the actions. And, words are great, but it's really, what are you doing? And I haven't seen any actions to warrant to kind of keep this thing going at the level it was going, as far as like daily texting, phone calls, a few times a week. But I hadn't seen this person in about a month. And, I understand, taking the slower process, getting to know someone, but let's move this thing along a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, and I wanted to see her, and she was busy. She had some prior engagements, which I understand. But there was some opportunities there that were there, and I felt a little bit let down. And I think I need a little bit more than that, a little bit more than, a month without seeing someone that you're interested in. I mean, how are you going to get to know them? So, but again, it's not dead. I'm just sort of, I don't know, backing, because what happens is, and I've talked about this before, but the attachment theory stuff, and I've gone into some deep dives, even more so on it. And there's a great therapist on YouTube, and she has a podcast, Dr. Morgan Anderson, and she's really good. She's very, very calming, her voice, and she's really smart, and she kind of speaks really clear, as far as a clear message. Her message is really clear. And I'm not the sharpest tool in the attack. Those of you who know me, I do the best. I do the best I can. But she speaks to she has a very clear message, and I appreciate that. And I'm sure she has a much bigger demographic of women that listen to her, but I think, I think that she's very helpful to men. Men don't talk about anxious attachment. How do they date? How do they show up when they date? How do they show up in relationships? Do they show up, securely attached is the term, or do they show up avoidant, or do they show up anxious? And I might be missing, I think there's one more called disorganized, which is a combination of anxious and avoidant. So sometimes you have both of them rearing their ugly heads. But it's really not an ugly head. It's just how, I'm trying not to beat myself up over this, because I'm pretty sure I'm anxious attachment, which is probably the majority of a lot of people. Most people, I think, are that, if you actually look at the numbers, but, and avoidant. But, it stems from, not only what I've learned is that it stems not only from childhood, but also from early relationships you were in, that, where you felt that you didn't have that your needs weren't met, that your emotional needs weren't met. And so you had to, I guess, kind of put up a wall. Well, not put up a wall, but you had to survive. It was kind of a survival skill. And an example that was brought up was that when you're a kid and you're 8 years old and you're out in the playground and you scratch your knee, and all the kids are kind of making fun of you. They're pointing at you, laughing, and then you go home and you're like, "Hey, Dad, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, this is what happened," and instead of being able to express that emotion to them, the parents are busy. Hey, I don't have time right now. I got to work, or whatever it is, and then so then you're sort of left to fend for yourself, and then it also leads to where you don't want to share those emotions, because when you do, you'll feel like you're too much, and that they can't handle that emotion. They don't have the capacity to handle that emotional need, I guess. And so, but that's just one example. And so what I've learned, or what I've kind of discovered about myself recently in the dating world is I'm working toward secure attachment, and and there's some tools that I do to help me get to that, where it's like, you're not looking at your phone. Oh, is she going to text me? Is she going to call me? I mean, you're still doing it, but you're finding ways to keep yourself busy. That's a big deal, right? And not put all your emotional, I think it was called outsourcing your emotional needs. So relying on someone else to provide those emotional needs for you, and instead being able to self-soothe, kind of like what like a child, I mean, I still, the emotions, and with the anxious attachment, it's more of like a feeling in your body, where it's, it's kind of a fight or flight feeling, and you have to find ways to regulate those emotions, regulate those feelings. And what I've learned is it's really just how I'm wired, I guess. But there is hope. I mean, you can change, and that's what I've learned. And through this process of dating this one woman who I'm not going to say what attachment style she has, but I'm trying to really be aware of how I'm showing up in the dating relationship, I guess. And and trying to show up being honest, expressing how I feel about things. And and she does seem to have the capacity to handle that. There wasn't a lot of, because I did share some emotions and did get vulnerable, and it's scary to do that, because again, I feel like if I do that, then they're gonna leave, right? They're gonna be like, oh man, this guy's too much to deal with. I can't handle that. And so there's that fear, but I can't lie to myself anymore. I have to, because I think I did that for a long time. You try to tell yourself these lies that making up excuses on why your needs aren't being met and so forth. And I don't want to live like that anymore. And I think part of sharing this stuff with you all is because I don't think that there's a lot of, and again, I'm not a professional, I'm not a therapist, I'm just trying to share my experience. There's a lot of men out there that I think can benefit from these things, whether they want to admit it or not, married or not, single, whatever. How are you showing up in your relationships? And it's been interesting. I'll have more to report on that, but again, I'm trying to just kind of be patient. Love is out there for me. I know it sounds hokey, but all these experiences and dating, and I don't want to say it's hard, but I look at it as experiences, really, to grow, to learn more about myself, and I truly believe that someone is out there that I can have that secure relationship with and feel safe to express my feelings with, and they can feel safe expressing their feelings with me. It doesn't mean there's not conflict, of course, in any relationship, but just sort of being able to build that foundation, and I think is a good starting point, and actually taking the time to get to know someone a little bit before the intimacy part comes in. When I say intimacy, of course, I mean sex. That's a new territory for me, and probably a lot of you, but that's okay. It's never too late to try something new, and go from there. So I think that's all I'm going to talk about on where I'm at in the dating world. But it's been a good week. Played some tennis. That was fun. Played a little doubles tennis. Played singles actually last week and kind of messed up my back. It sucks getting old, Luckily, it wasn't videotaped this time, because I might have shared this before, but man, when I'm out there, I'm feeling good. I'm hitting the ball hard. I'm moving great. I'm flexible. I'm quick, and I got some power. And then watching yourself play sports on video, like watching yourself on videotape playing sports after the age of 50 is no fun. Okay, it's not a good time. It leads to depression. It leads to anxiety. And don't ever watch yourself playing sports unless you're on a heavy dose of testosterone and you're in a really good shape, because in that I am not. But So I'm glad it wasn't videotaped, but I felt good. Back was a little bit sore, but I was able to kind of stretch that out after, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. And let's see what else. What else is going on here? I wrote something down here. I can't remember. Can't read my own writing. Anyways, I just wanted to kind of do a check-in with y'all, and thought we might get a phone call on this episode, but just wanted to say hello. Still try to get some content out every week, and I'm actually going to be starting a new podcast with my good friend Ernie from high school, and more. Stay tuned for more information on that as well. He's created a website that is amazing for it's called Parlay.com, Parlaiy, Parlaiy, Parlay.com, and he's used AI to help you make your football picks for the season, and also other sports as well. And I think even more sports are going to come. But it's pretty amazing. We're going to be doing a weekly podcast on that. We're involved in a tournament in Vegas where it's a season-long tournament, and we're going to use the software that, again, anyone can use to help us with our picks. And stay tuned again for more information on that. I think we're actually going to create start the original podcast tonight. Anyhows, hopefully next week we'll have a guest, and we're going to keep this thing rolling as best we can. All right. So thanks again for listening. Take care. All right. Bye, everybody.